Good morning. Happy Monday. Thanks for attending another episode of Monday Mornings with Margie. Today, I have three special guests who are near and dear to my heart. I have Dillon and Andrew on Zoom with me. They work with me at Achieve in marketing and education and provider and patient relations. And I couldn't do my job without them. And next to me, I have my son, Charlie. He's 11 years old, so he's going to join us today. So our focus today is around some of the losses that we're all experiencing during the time of COVID. And one of those main things are the ability for us to be in any kind of large group. And because of that, there's been many losses. And our focus today is going to be on sports, both the loss of being able to watch sports and also participate in group sports. Now, if you're not a sports fan, I don't want you to turn us off, because I think what we're talking about really applies to lots of different aspects of people's lives. So if you are a musician and you plan to play in a band and you're not able to be with your band members right now, if you're someone who, loves to go to the movies, see the newest, latest and greatest movies out, and you can't go to the movies right now, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the focus is really themed around the loss we have of being able to participate in group activities. But our focus here is going to be sports today. So hopefully you'll stay and listen to this exciting discussion. So I wanted to just start by asking each of you, where does your connection to sports start? Where did it begin for you? So Dillon, why don't you start there with all your jerseys going on and Michael Jordan in the background?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for having me on, Margie. And Ashley said, I do marketing for Achieve TMS East, but I will tell you a little bit about my sports fandom today. And I will start by saying I'm missing new live sports like crazy. And it's one of the things I love, just having some sort of sport to follow every day. It's exciting and it keeps me going sometimes. And when you throw in things like fantasy sports, it makes things even better. So that, I'm missing that big time right now. And as you can see, I have some jerseys around me, and I have the best quarterback, Tom Brady, but you also notice this is a Jerry Rice Raiders jersey. And so my football fandom started right in the early 2000s, when I really knew what was going on when I was watching. And I love the Raiders, and I love Jerry Rice. He's my favorite football player of all time. And so you should have seen my little third grade heart broken into pieces when I read his biography. And I was reading all about the San Francisco 49ers team that he played for and was like winning championships and whatnot. And I was like, what is this? I thought he was a Raider. Like, what's going on? And so, I'll forget that part of his history, but I'm a big Raiders fan because of that, unfortunately, and a big Jerry Rice fan. But I always respect the GOAT, Tom Brady, of course, the best to ever do it. And then I've always played hockey my whole life, and I'm a Devils fan and a Bruins fan, so I've got the Cam Neely jersey on today. So I grew up playing hockey, high school, and I still played hockey, and I was planning on playing some street hockey this spring and summer, but obviously it's been canceled. So, what I've been doing to make up for it, I've done a couple things. One of them being watching a lot of sports, obviously repeats and things, highlights and whatnot. And I've been in shape by going on a stationary bike. So I'm not much of a runner. I know that's usually a big option for people going outside and going for a run, getting the vitamin D. But I just hop on the stationary bike in the living room, pump out an hour or so every day, and it's keeping me going physically. So that's what I'm doing on that end. And then also—
Before you go on, sorry to interrupt. Yeah. I want to get to some of that stuff in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I want to hear a little bit from Charlie and Andrew, and then go to kind of what you guys are doing, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you can just hold on to those thoughts.
Absolutely.
And those suggestions. We're going to wrap up with those. So, Andrew, why don't you tell me a little bit about your connection to sports?
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you, Margie, for having me on. Like Margie said, I also work at Achieve TMS East. I'm a business development manager there. But a little bit about myself. I'm a huge sports fan. Obviously, my favorite sport right here, Celtics, basketball. I was pretty much born in a gym. My dad was a high school basketball coach, so right off the bat, I was involved with sports. Has always been a big thing for me. Played in high school, reffed it, coached high school soccer, coached high school basketball. Celtics fanatic, try to attend as many games as I can a year. Live in Boston, so it works out perfect for me. It's crazy times we're going through, but sports is, something that's always kept me going, and I'm really missing it in these times. But there's ways to get around it, and we'll talk about those for sure.
And Charlie, what would you say about sports? What is it about sports that you like, and what do you do for sports?
I play basketball and baseball, and I like sports because I like competing against different people and being competitive, and it keeps me going because at school that's I play basketball every day,
Mm-hmm.
and then I watch sports when I get home and play video games with basketball and baseball.
Okay. So what would you guys say, how would you describe how not having sports affects you? Whether it's in your daily lives or emotionally, how it affects you. I might be asking you to dig a little deep here for this. But I think that there is a deeper side to this, and I think we're all realizing it during this time. I can speak for myself that it's a real loss. And for me, both coaching, playing, and watching, I feel like I'm in the zone. I call it I'm in the zone. I'm in alignment with myself. And when I'm doing these things or watching these things, I don't think about anything else. I love Achieve. I love my job, but I'm not thinking about Achieve. And so for me, it's actually one of my ways of distracting myself with something I love. And it's really a stress management tool for me in a lot of ways. And I'm wondering if you all can relate to that.
Absolutely, I agree. Back when we had the ability to play sports, it was once a week for me, and so it was that I'm not going to say that was the best part of my week. Sometimes there was other great things, but I always look forward to it, and it was a great de-stressor because I knew I was going to go see people that I liked, and I was playing a sport that I liked, ice hockey, and letting out that physical frustration in a way, which helped out a lot. And then just the camaraderie with my teammates was awesome. And, I definitely look forward to it. And not having that, it's definitely kind of what do I do? How do I fill that gap? And so that's affecting me emotionally for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Andrew?
Yeah, going off that, likewise. For me, I played in a flag football league on Sundays, men's basketball league on Wednesdays, pretty much year round is kind of my routine. And then watching sports nightly, following the Celtics. Baseball just got going. Hockey's getting into the playoffs or should be getting into the playoffs.
Right.
You're making just everyday adjustments of going home. What do I watch? Sunday morning, not looking forward to football. Wednesday nights, not seeing the boys and playing in the men's league. So it's just things like that, affects me personally. And then just having that loss of sports and seeing, competing and rooting for my team. And then even just socializing and watching an event with my friends, all those aspects of sports, I'm just really missing that these times. So it's tough. It's definitely an adjustment to be made for sure.
And how would you say for you, Charlie? I know we got through basketball season, but baseball season's been canceled. How do you feel about the fact that, baseball isn't happening and we're not sure how things are going to progress?
It feels weird because I only played 2 sports when I used to play 3. So I'm getting less sports, but now since I didn't get to do another one, it feels really weird because I only got to play basketball, and then we're getting ready for baseball, and then it got canceled like right before baseball started.
And you didn't even get to use your new glove.
Yeah.
We were very excited about his new glove. So, yeah. Okay. So now we're going to go back, Dillon, and I want you to jump right in on this. But one of the things I wanted to just talk a little bit about is what are you doing now to help you kind of fill that void that you are experiencing, and any also suggestions you might have for other people. It might not be something you're personally doing for yourself, but it's something in your mind that might work for someone else.
Right. All right. So I want to just say that I also have a hockey stick that I haven't been able to use yet. I got it for Christmas. It actually ended by then, so I haven't gotten to use it yet either. So I feel your pain on that. I mentioned the stationary bikes. That's how I'm keeping active. Yard work. I've mowed the lawn and raked it, so I'm doing that as much as I can. Like I said, not much of a runner, but I know that's a great thing for people. It gets you outside and active, so it's a 2-for-1 there. The other thing I'm doing, I'll just mention it quickly because I don't think I mentioned Michael Jordan and my connection with him, but this poster, as well as his famous Jumpman poster, have been hung up in my room ever since I was like 6 years old. Despite never playing a single organized game of basketball in my life, he was a huge hero of mine. And so they just released a documentary about him called The Last Dance. So I have been keeping up with that, and that's very exciting. So in general, following TV shows or movies, go back to some old ones that you have seen before and rewatch them and see how they stand up. That's kind of something that I love to do. And then lastly, I'll say that I'm playing a lot of video games. So there's tons of different video games out there, and there are different opinions about it. But specifically, I'll mention I'm more of like a Call of Duty, Fortnite kind of guy. But I also do play the sports games like NHL and Madden. And I also broke out the Wii Sports recently. So a ton of Wii Sports, and I've almost bowled a perfect game on Wii Bowling. I hit it 297. So we're going to get there. Those are my suggestions. So thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Andrew.
So just making the adjustment to not having sports in the everyday life. First thing, like Dillon mentioned, what I look forward to every week is my Sunday nights with the MJ documentary, The Last Dance. Highly recommend if you're a sports fan, you want to see a real competitor, Michael Jordan's documentaries, it for you. Other things I've been doing, just kind of looking forward or looking back, I guess, at sporting events. I've watched some reruns. I watched the 28-3 comeback from the Patriots over the Falcons. Doesn't get old. Still get nervous around halftime being down all those points, but it's just nice to watch it, see it again. Also looking forward to Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. They have a golf match coming up with Tiger Woods and Phil Mickelson. Just, another sporting event to look forward to. But, things I'm doing in these times, I'm getting ready for, I'm trying to say, I'm kind of really into sports, so I try to say sports related. Fantasy football starts in September. I'm in a pretty serious league, so doing my mock drafts and my scouting for the rookies already, trying to stay active. And just another thing is I do play men's leagues twice a week, so I try to get outside at least once a week or twice a week just to, get the blood moving, walk, go to a nice area just to see it. Does help get the blood moving, like I said. Other things I'm doing, I know your quarantine is stuck. Dillon mentioned playing the Wii games. I brought out the Wii too, a little more Mario Kart geared. But Zooming, I use Zoom with my friends a lot, and we're playing like games that, old board games or charades or something through Zoom. So it's a fun time. So I definitely recommend connecting through Zoom with people that you interact with before the quarantine. Yeah, so that's about what I have.
Great. And Charlie, what are some of the things that you've been doing other than your schoolwork to stay active and also stay engaged with sports?
So I've been going outside and shooting hoops with my basketball. And we've been going on walks, and I use a treadmill almost every morning. Yeah, so I run and walk and sometimes scooter outside.
Mm-hmm. And what else have you been doing inside?
I've
to
been
stay engaged with sports?
I've been like I've been watching like sports on TV, and then like I've been playing like NBA 2K and like Madden NFL, and then yeah, I've been like still following sports, but like not watching like them live because they aren't on.
Right. I will say that the NFL draft was a highlight of April for me. I was so excited for the NFL draft. I don't think I've been that excited ever. And then also to see how they were going to do it, and make it happen. And then I thought it was actually cool seeing like people with their family and in their natural kind of environment in some of the homes. And I actually kind of liked it, the way they did it this year.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was a good mix-up.
Yeah.
Definitely. And
So-
actually, I wanted to hop in on something Andrew said, talking about that 28-3 comeback. One thing that I miss about sports is sometimes like you don't even need to be a sports fan. I'm thinking of my girlfriend. So I actually watched the 28-3 comeback with Andrew at Andrew's house. It was awesome. And I was thinking, like, if my girlfriend was there and she could really care less about football. And there's been multiple times where like we've had parties and she could really care less, but she likes the environment and there's food and friends. And
Sure.
so even on that end, even if, you weren't someone who engages in the sport and could, care about who wins, like sometimes those people have the most fun just because they're at the party and they're the most relaxed. So, they have nothing to do. They're just enjoying themselves. And yes, NBA 2K, do you go online and play other people? Or are you going to the 3-on-3s? What's your game mode?
I play against my friends sometimes, and I go into the neighborhood and play like 4-on-4, like one-on-ones and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't play the 2K, but I know I've seen people in that like neighborhood and stuff, and it's crazy. It's like, you're virtually with your friends doing something. It stinks that you're not actually together, but it is keeping people connected big time. So, Margie, where do you feel on the video games scale? Do you think that they are, good for people and connecting people, or is there a point where it's too much?
Right. Well, I think that, if there's any time where video games and social media are a good avenue for people, and especially kids and adolescents, I think, now is one of those ways to help them stay connected and help us as adults stay connected. I think with everything, it's all about balance. And so making sure that's not your only way, where you're in front of a screen or staring at your iPhone all the time. I think it's just about balance and making sure that you do both. But I understand in a time like now, it is one of the ways that people are staying connected and kids are staying connected. So I think it's all about moderation. And also, I just think it's so important right now to be physically moving your body, and actually also talking to people like who are live around you, whether it's your girlfriend or your spouse and children or whatever, it's your dog. I think that is just as equally important, because I think too much screen time for anyone can also have an adverse effect where you can become more anxious, or it can affect your mood in a negative way, or some people become more irritable. So I think you got to figure it out on a person-to-person basis, a kid-to-kid basis, and also just remember moderation is important.
Yeah. So do you have any tips in general? It's kid-to-kid and person-to-person, but sometimes you hear, oh, just put the phone down for a few hours a day, but it's tough for people. They're like, how can I do that? Or do you have any tips, like maybe setting alarms or, I don't know, methods to remind you to actually do that and follow through?
Yeah, I think that helps. I mean, I know that in our house, with Charlie and Ella, we've set specific times that are sort of school time and non-electronic time. So they know during these certain times, they're either to be completing their schoolwork or doing anything but electronics. So it could be artwork, it could be, going outside for a walk, shooting hoops, whatever it is, reading a book, doing a puzzle, anything that is engaging your brain in a different way than looking at a screen. And so I think that, you could do it, if it's a time to time scenario, you can do, like you said, where you set an alarm and you do something, or you can just have like a specific schedule in place that, during these times, this is what you're supposed to be doing. Right. So I think really helpful for kids, but I actually think it could be helpful for adults too, because we're as guilty in some situations also at looking at the screen, and not just for fun, but we're looking at the screen, many of us, all day long for work right now, working from home. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So I just wanted to end with, if you guys have any positive thoughts, vibes you want to share with people as we're trying to sort of work through this together. If there was anything any of you wanted to share to anyone that might be listening right now.
I'll let Andrew start, because I gotta think of my profound statement to end with.
It doesn't have to be profound.
Yeah, no, what I would say to people is, right now, these times are definitely tough and unique with being stuck inside. But I would say stay strong and stay connected. I would say staying connected with people is more important than ever, and reach out to someone because they definitely need it.
Well said, Andrew, and I agree. So whatever you did before quarantine started, whether you played sports, watched it, Dungeons and Dragons meetups, whatever you did, there's ways to do it virtually now. There's tons of ways to try to do what you did before, and if you can't, try to substitute it with a new positive hobby or thing that you like to do, and stay safe out there, everyone.
Charlie, if there are any people listening out there that they have their kids listening to their podcast, maybe it's part of their what they asked them to do for their educational time. I know there's a few people that are having their kids listen to podcasts. What would you say to kids out there right now?
Like, stay active and stay connected, really.
Mm-hmm. And I think the bottom line, and I think what we're all saying is, this too shall pass. And I think we should all just keep that in mind, that, we're in a very unique time right now, and that this is going to pass, and things will eventually get back to normal. We may have a new normal for a period of time, but things are going to get better. And so find ways to stay connected, find things that you enjoy doing and that make you feel good. And we'll get through this together, right? So thank you all for coming and being part of Monday Mornings with Margie. This was a fun topic. Maybe I'll have you on again sometime.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
All right. And to everyone listening, thank you for being part of our show today, and be well. Have a good week.